Welcome to the deep dive. You know, in a world just absolutely packed with superhero movies, it feels pretty rare when something new genuinely stands out, makes you take notice.
It really does. And there's been so much talk about superhero fatigue, hasn't there?
Exactly. But maybe, just maybe, it wasn't really superhero fatigue. Maybe it was more like mediocre fatigue.
That's a great way to put it. It seems like when a film really connects with the source material, shows that passion, it just cuts through all that noise.
Yeah, that passion seems key. And speaking of films really hitting the mark, today we're diving deep into the Fantastic Four, First Steps.
Ah, yes. Marvel's first family. Fans have been waiting, decades for a truly worthy adaptation?
Decades. And this one? Well, people are saying it finally broke the curse. We've dug through a ton of stuff for you. Critic reviews, audience takes on Rotten Tomatoes, Reddit threads, naturally.
Plus the comic history from places like Wikipedia, YouTube explainers, and even some behind-the-scenes bits from AP News and Men's Journal. Lots to unpack.
Absolutely. So, our mission today, cut through all that hype and figure out what makes this First Steps movie feel so, I guess, significant and maybe a little surprising too.
We'll look at how it handles the characters, the big cosmic threats, and that really unique retro future world they've built.
Right, how it kind of revitalizes these classic characters, but also sets a new course. So let's start by setting the scene for their return. It hasn't always been smooth sailing for the FF on screen, has it?
Oh, definitely not. It's been a bumpy road. You had that Roger Corman one back in '94. Never even got a release.
Right, the unreleased one.
All the way up to that 2015 reboot, which, well, let's just say the critics were not kind. I think one called it the cinematic equivalent of malware.
Ouch. Yeah, that bad. So it really highlights why people were so desperate for a good version.
Exactly. Which brings us to First Steps. Marvel Studios' first official take. Matt Shakman directing.
And the setting is just different, isn't it? Very specific.
Totally different. It's this spiffy 60s era romp, is how someone put it. Full-on retrofuturism, that old-school American optimism.
And set in an alternate universe. Earth 828?
Yep, 828. Nice little nod to Jack Kirby's birthday, August 28th. And crucially, they skipped the origin story.
Ah, okay. That's a big choice.
It is. The film starts like 4 years after they get their powers. So it's more like how they brought Spider-Man into the MCU. So you kind of know the basics already.
Gets right into the team dynamic then.
Exactly. Dive right in.
And the whole production, the look and feel. They really committed to that retro thing, didn't they?
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
Shakman wanted it to look like Kubrick in 1965 made it. They used practical sets, practical props where they could.
Like the ships, I heard about those.
Yeah. A massive 14-foot model of the Excelsior spaceship. 2 models of the Fantasticar.
Wow. In this day and age, that's pretty cool. You can feel that difference, I think, compared to pure CGI.
You really can't. It grounds it. The production design team went all out creating this, hallucinatory 1960s vibe.
Hallucinatory? How so?
Well, Reed's lab, for instance, drew inspiration from 2001, A Space Odyssey. And they built this incredibly detailed Yancey street set.
Based on Kirby's actual neighborhood.
Yeah, his childhood neighborhood.
Yeah.
Kosher groceries, a synagogue. All these little details. It wasn't just slapping a 60s filter on it. It felt like a properly immersive, distinct world. Really boosted the whole experience.
Okay, so they put in the work on the look and the setup. But the big question is always, did it work? How did people actually react? Critics, audiences?
Well, it wasn't just it was overwhelmingly positive, which is pretty remarkable, really.
Overwhelmingly. Give us the numbers.
Okay, so Rotten Tomatoes. Critics gave it an 87% certified fresh. That's from over 300 reviews. They loved the cast chemistry, the retro design.
87. Wow. And audiences. Sometimes they differ.
Even better, actually. 93% certified hot from over 25,000 reviews.
Yeah.
The consensus there was something like the film takes the world by storm, Thing, Reed, Johnny and Baby, forging a new path.
93 from audiences. That's huge.
It really is.
Yeah.
And you had outlets like Men's Journal just raving, calling it easily one of the best superhero movies of all time.
Okay, that's major praise. So it makes you wonder, what did this film do so differently? After all those failed attempts, why did this one click?
I think it goes back to what you said earlier about mediocre fatigue.
Yeah.
This felt quality, like a real effort, a course correction for Marvel, maybe.
Yeah, it does seem like part of that narrative. And the box office backed it up too, didn't it? It actually beat Superman's opening weekend.
It did. Now, obviously, some folks still preferred Superman, but Fantastic Four took the opening weekend crown. That kind of healthy competition probably pushes everyone to do better,
Definitely. So beneath the visuals and the success,
Yeah.
what's at the heart of it? The team itself.
Absolutely. It
Yep.
always comes back to family with the Fantastic Four. And this film really seemed to nail that. Someone commented it showed more cohesion than the whole MCU does at this point.
That's quite a statement. So let's get into that family. Starting with the leader, Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards, played by Pedro Pascal.
Right. Pascal's take really leaned into the genius, the leader aspect. It was more about Reed's mind. Apparently, he thought about the brilliance of an octopus for the role.
An octopus. Interesting analogy. Less about just the stretching power itself.
Seems like it. More the way his mind works, processing multiple things.
And in the comics, Reed's often carrying this huge guilt about Ben, about the accident. How did the movie handle that?
Well, they introduced him already as a father. Sue's pregnant right from the beginning, so that adds this whole other dimension, Higher stakes for him immediately as a family man.
That's a smart twist. Makes him relatable, maybe, beyond just the whole stretching thing, focusing on those intellectual struggles, the family pressures.
I think so, yeah. Those are universal feelings. Though it's fair to say some fans did mention wanting to see, well, more stretching, a bit more power usage.
Always a balancing act. Okay, what about Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman, played by Vanessa Kirby?
Kirby's Sue is Reed's pregnant wife, Johnny's older sister. She's described as the, quote, most emotionally intelligent person on the team.
And the founder of the Future Foundation, which achieved world peace. That's a pretty big deal in this universe.
Huge deal. And Kirby apparently really zoned in on the motherhood angle, that fierce mama bear energy.
Is that where that line came from, the kill her moment?
That's the one. When the baby, Franklin, is threatened, it's intense. Definitely taps into Sue's darker malice persona from the comics sometimes. Shows how far she'll go. It's kind of startling, actually.
Yeah. Not your typical hero line. So how did fans react to her portrayal overall? Was it universally loved?
Mostly, yeah. But you had some debate. Some wanted her to have a, quote, bigger role or maybe see more of her scientific side like Reed.
But others pointed to her leadership, right? Like being an ambassador and apparently holding her own against Galactus.
Exactly. Some comments highlighted how she almost single-handedly pushed Galactus around. So different people looking for different things from such a complex character,
Makes sense. Okay, next up. The Human Torch, Johnny Storm. Joseph Quinn. How did they approach him? He can sometimes be just the jokester.
Right, the stupid playboy trope from some comics. But this version sounds like a big step up. He's shown as actually really observant, smart even.
Oh, in what way?
Like deciphering alien languages, spotting threats the others miss, even figuring out how to fight Galactus without needing Reed to spell it all out for him. Shows intuition.
That's a great evolution for the character. I read about one reaction, a fan saying that line, tell Franklin that his Uncle Johnny loves him. Apparently it really hit home for new uncles watching.
Yeah, moments like that really landed. Showed his growth, that deep family loyalty underneath the bravado. He's more than just jokes and flames here. He's got heart and brains too.
Nice. And finally, the ever-loving blue-eyed thing. Ben Grimm, played by Eben Moss-Bachrach.
Moss-Bachrach apparently delivered a really soulful performance, showing Ben as this very human person, sort of comfortable in his rocky skin, consoling Reed even. The body of hard stone, heart of soft gold idea.
That sounds great, but I also saw some criticism that maybe he didn't get his big moment.
Yeah, some felt he was a bit disappointing compared to the others, lacking a real defining scene. And there was discussion about his love interest too, Rachel Rosman in the movie, not Alicia Masters like usual.
So how do you give a character like The Thing his big moment if it's not just smashing stuff, especially if they're focusing on his quieter, more human side?
That's the challenge, isn't it? Maybe his moment needed to be less physical, more emotional, a big sacrifice or a profound choice, perhaps. Trying to be the normal when you look like that is inherently dramatic.
True. Okay, so that's the core four. Let's zoom out to the bigger picture. The cosmic threats, the supporting cast, Galactus. Big one.
The big one, voiced by Ralph Ineson, portrayed as this just gigantic cosmic force, the last survivor of a dead universe.
And the movie made it clear he's not exactly evil, right? More like a force of nature.
Exactly. A god of sorts is how it's put. Just a planet-eating guy simply doing what a big planet-eating guy does. Needs to eat planets to live. Simple as that from his perspective.
How did audiences react to seeing him on screen? Must have been impressive.
Initial reactions were apparently incredibly awesome. Just this huge, one-ending cosmic threat. Really imposing.
But there was some debate later about the third act.
Yeah, a bit. Some fans felt he kind of lost his vibe, became more like a generic dumb kaiju, maybe, or that Sue pushed him around too easily.
How does that compare to the comics? He's a pretty complex figure there.
Very complex. In the comics, he's vital for cosmic balance. He has this ongoing, weird relationship with Earth's heroes, and especially with Franklin Richards.
Franklin again? What's the deal there?
It's wild. Franklin, in the comics, has literally brought Galactus back to life multiple times. He's destined to eventually become Galactus, basically, in a future universe.
Yeah.
Galactus is even shown to be afraid of Franklin's power sometimes.
Whoa! Okay, that adds a whole new layer to Galactus wanting the baby in the movie.
Totally. It makes his targeting of Earth make so much more sense.
Mind blown. Okay, what about his herald? The Silver Surfer. Played by Julia Garner, but not Norrin Radd.
Right. Julia Garner as Shallowball the Surfer. Great visual presence, this mysterious energy, elegant movement. But yeah, traditionally the Surfer is Norrin Radd, and Shallowball is his lover back on Zenlaw.
So having her as the Surfer, that's a big change. Where did that come from?
It's a surprising choice, for sure. But it actually draws on some alternate reality what-if comics, where she did take on a similar role. So there is precedent, just not in the main continuity usually.
Interesting. And visually, does she make an impact?
Definitely. There's this one scene with her and Johnny Storm, apparently really beautiful and warm, that visually recreates a Michelangelo painting. Shows that artistic ambition again.
Cool. Who else? We had Mole Man, right? Paul Walter Hauser.
Yep, Mole Man. But presented differently here. More like a former foe who's now an ally. He's the ruler of Subterranea, but framed as a sort of leader of a labor union focused on his community.
How did that go over? Mole Man as a union leader?
Mixed, maybe. Some viewers felt it was a little off or that he barely got to do his thing. Missed the more traditional Mole Man, maybe his little moloid creatures too.
Yeah, you expect the moloids. Okay, back to Franklin Richards. The baby. Sue's pregnant. He's born during the movie. And Galactus can sense his power.
That's the crux of it. Galactus senses this enormous power in the unborn child.
Yeah.
And that's why he targets Earth. He basically offers to spare the planet in exchange for the baby.
High stakes. Now, you mentioned Franklin's comic power level. He's basically off the charts.
Completely. Reality warper, potentially one of the most powerful beings ever in Marvel. So powerful that Reed, his own dad, once had to put him in a coma briefly because he was like subconsciously threatening to destroy everything.
Yikes. Fatherhood is tough.
Especially your kid can rewrite reality. But we should probably mention the CGI for baby Franklin in the movie.
Yeah.
It was challenging. Doing a baby in those kinds of cosmic, otherworldly scenes. Some describe the CGI as awful, but you kind of understand why it would be difficult. Still, it set up his importance.
Gotcha. And looking ahead, Dr. Doom. Did we finally see him?
Sort of. There's a mid-credits scene, sets him up clearly. You see a figure, Victor Von Doom, green cloak, metal mask, interacting with Franklin.
Ooh, interacting with Franklin. Interesting.
Yeah, leading right into the next big Avengers movie, Doomsday. And of course, the speculation is rampant about who will play him. Lots of buzz around Robert Downey Jr.
RDJ as Doom. That would be something. Or maybe a Doombot.
Theories abound. Could be a Doombot, could be a disguise. Definitely leaves you thinking about where this is all heading. This film really set the stage.
It sounds like it. And it paid off financially too, right? Big opening.
Huge. $118 million domestic, $218 million globally first weekend. Definitely a success.
So what's the big takeaway then? What does this mean for the Fantastic Four going forward in the MCU?
Well, a sequel is reportedly already cooking. And the main four are confirmed for the next two Avengers movies, Doomsday and Secret Wars.
So they're not just a one-off, they're sticking around.
Oh yeah, they seem positioned as a big pillar in the MCU moving forward. Foundational.
And it all comes back to that family dynamic, doesn't it? Even with all the cosmic stuff.
Absolutely, that's the core. Bickering, joking, but ultimately deeply loyal. Just like the original comics always emphasized, it's about family.
Okay, so we've really dug into the Fantastic Four first steps today, how it tapped into that Kirby Lee retro spirit, how it nailed the family vibe, and introduced these huge cosmic characters in new ways.
Yeah, it presents this interesting vision of heroism, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Rooted more in those family bonds than just like individual superpower.
Right, so here's something to think about. When you're facing these reality-bending cosmic threats, what actually holds everything together? Is it Reed's intellect, Sue's empathy, Ben's heart, Johnny's intuition? Or is it something simpler, like, love for a child?
It makes you consider how this first family is set up to anchor things, not just with powers, but with their very human issues and connections. So what stood out most to you about their journey in this film, and what are you most curious about seeing next for them? Lots to ponder there.
Thanks for watching and listening to the AI Podcasting Network. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We'll catch you next time.